Not even Gran Turismo can have the massive appeal of fast, furious, futuristic races such as Rollcage, says PlayStation Max magazine. That's because Gran Turismo is a real driving simulator, and you're comparing it to a futuristic arcade-style racing game. That's like comparing apples to oranges, scorpions to cougars, Resident Evil to Super Mario 64. I tried to make the title card as close to the game as possible, so sorry. Anyway, Rollcage was released in 1999, published by SCE Studio Liverpool, previously known as Psygnosis, who got defunct after the release of Wipeout 2048. It was developed by Attention to Detail, founded in '88, but defunct in 2003, who made Cyber Mode for the dreaded Atari Jaguar. And Lego Races 2. It's a racing game where the race cars can flip 180 degrees vertically, yet still drive because of some technology of the future that was implemented in the cars. Oh, and it's also a Mario Kart clone because there's weapon pickups and boosters over the roads. But you can also drive out the ceiling, which is great. Does Mario Kart do that? Maybe you can in native with the anti-grav thingies. But how about this? Destructible objects. Does Mario Kart has that? Nope, but Twisted Metal does. Speaking of Twisted Metal, there's unlockable deathmatch tracks in the bonus bit menus in the options, though deathmatch is a multiplayer only mode. There are a total of 15 tracks divided by 4 locations. Kyoto, which is set in some big city similar to Tokyo, Harpoon, which is set in a couple of islands, Sapphire, which is set in an industrial zone and it's snowy, and Outworld, which is set in a mining area on Mars. And one of the Outworld tracks has lava trails at the first corner, yet it doesn't seem to melt the car. Contrary to public belief, Attention to Detail didn't pay attention to the environment's detail. Humph. There are 5 race modes. League mode, where you partake in championships. Arcade mode, which is just single race mode. Time attack is, well, getting the best time in the track, obviously. Multiplayer is exactly what it says on the tin. You can either play in split screen, local network, or IP network. And practice, where you race against an opponent in a Kyoto track for the rest of your life. In other words, the lap count is infinite. You can also change your car in the game without loading and stuff. The cars have different specs indicated by the graphs at the bottom left of the screen, so choose your car wisely, either a fast but oversteering car or a slow but good grip car. Depending on what car you drive, the cars control well on some tracks. You can turn off the weapons for pure racing, but what's the fun on that, other than driving on the ceiling? There are weapons you can pick up, from the simple homing missiles to the wormholes to the cooling rays. There's also the boost and shield pickups. The tracks have shortcuts, which is great if you're into exploring the tracks and finding exploits. Sometimes they're hidden and sometimes they're somewhat visible. Though if you're a newbie like me and trying to get a shortcut, you end up like this. The graphics look somewhat great, though it barely aged well. The game is limited to 30 frames per second. You know, just like most 8th gen games that were released recently. Shit, I'm comparing a 1999 game to recently released games. It's limited to 30 frames per second, just like the PlayStation version. There we go. The music, well, it depends on the version. The PC version has the original soundtrack made by Fatboy Slim, whereas the PS1 version has licensed music. Whether which version has the best soundtrack is up for debate, but to be honest, I really don't give a shit which is better. So that was Rollcage. It's enjoyable, the gameplay is fun, the graphics looks great, though it might not run well on modern systems. I'll give it 4 focuses out of 5. If you want to get Rollcage, you can get it for free since it's abandonware, though one of the original developers and Attention to Detail, Rob Baker, is mangling with the game to make it playable to modern systems. It's called Rollcage Redux. It's still developing and there are some added features like custom music. Multiplayer doesn't have internet play, so you have to use Tango, but the developer will fix the multiplayer feature to add internet play, after he finished focusing on the single player aspect.